I am inspired to make this YouTube video thanks to one of my original subscribers who made a lovely comment in the last video that I uploaded that talked about me dealing with lust. And I'll put the YouTube comment right here on the video and I will read it out loud as well. So, Mr. Rim, he says, "Hey, haven't spoken in a while, but I feel like everyone struggles with a sin." Certainly true. For me, it's definitely sloth. I'm so lazy, it hurts me, but I just have to push on through. All right. And you're reading the title of this video. This video is called Dying, which is something that I'm going to talk about. And I'm also going to talk about, how to stop being lazy, because it is something that I used to struggle with a lot in the past. And to give you a little context about, about dying and about being lazy, first I'll talk about death. I used to be a very angry kid back in the day for mainly two reasons. One, I was incredibly angry and sad and depressed due to the fact that I was born into the family that I was born into. And second of all, I also hated the world and everything in it, around it, above it, underneath it, whatever, you name it. And since a very young age, I just wanted to off myself. And after a while, after my anger just dissipating and decreasing slowly with time. No, wait. Before, let me talk to you guys about how insane me and the relationship of me wanting to die is. So I was very young and I wanted to off myself, right? So let's say at one point I was 12 years old. I used to have the recurring thought and fantasy that when I turned 15 years old, I was going to die. And then I turned 15 years old and I was like, damn, I didn't die. So I'm going to die when I'm 18 years old. And I turned 18 and I wasn't dead. And then it became something I said throughout, my early 20s. And when I was 21, I was like, okay, I'm going to die when I'm 23, 24. And I turned 24 years old, and then I was like, man, I'm not dead. I'm going to die when I'm 27 years old. I'm going to be a part of the 27-year-old club. These famous celebrities, singers, actors, whatever you name it, that they all die when they are 27 years old somehow. And I turned 27. I was like, well, I didn't make it in the club. I'm going to die when I was 30, and so on, so forth. And there was one point where I did try to off myself when I was like 27, 28 years old. Obviously, it did not work out because I'm still here. And then my desire to die, the healthier I got, right, the lesser and lesser I wanted to die. And also the less angrier I got over time. And the more I started loving my family and the more that I started loving the world, or not being so angry about, just being who I am or being born into the family that I was born into, the lesser I wanted to die. So me and death have had, or me and wanting to die have had a pretty intricate and complex relationship over the years, and now segueing into me being very lazy. During my 20s, I was what you could arguably call a hikikomori. Hikikomori is somebody, it's a Japanese word that entails somebody who is like a NEET, who doesn't want to go outside of his living abode. He doesn't want to go outside his house, his apartment. He just wants to stay in his room. He's probably playing video games all day, or he's watching anime from the comfort of his bed or of his couch, and rinse and repeat. And I was heavily addicted to World of Warcraft, and I was also heavily addicted to not doing anything. And I was also heavily addicted to smoking marijuana. And my days for many, many years consisted of me waking up at like 3, 4 p.m. in the afternoon or in the evening. I played for 8 hours in a row. I had food while I would be playing games or World of Warcraft. I would go to the bathroom. Sometimes I wouldn't even shower. I would come back. I would sit down for another 8 to 10 hours. I would fall asleep at like 5, 6 in the morning and rinse and repeat. And throughout all this time and all these hours throughout the day, I'd be smoking marijuana. I'd be smoking cigarettes and rinse and repeat. And this lifestyle took hold or was something that happened for many, many, many years in my life. And when my mother proposed the idea to, hey, why don't you go find a job? I'd always procrastinate. I'd be like, no, Mom, I don't want to work. F this. No. Why don't you start doing exercise? No, I don't want to. Hell no. Why don't you start trying to go outside and meet people? No, I don't want to. Blah, blah, blah. And now that I'm thinking about it, I was incredibly depressed, but I was also very lazy and too lazy to give like a damn about anything or wanting to improve my life or change the life that I was living. I was actually pretty content with just being a degenerate gamer and an otaku, I guess. And like I said, this happened, and this was something that I maintained for many, many, many years. And now, dying, right? Which is the title of this video. Dying is one of the most certain and absolute truths in this world. Anything that is bound to mortality. And strangely enough, we're not entirely mortal, because I believe that what we have within, you can call it the heart, or you can call it the soul, or you can call it the spirit, that is certainly immortal, right? But the body that we are bound into is definitely mortal, and it will definitely perish. So you, me, everybody with a human body or with any sort of mortal body is bound to mortality, is bound to the fact that one day, who knows when that will be, you and I will cease to exist, and this playthrough right now will, stop and will end. And the second I realized that, that's when I really started to look at things from a different aspect, recognizing that I and you and everybody, but more specifically me, recognizing that I am going to die one day, kind of put me not necessarily in like survival mode, but it definitely made me want to live more. And it's making me want to realize the things that I want to accomplish before this playthrough expires or before I die. I don't want to be that person who is 70 or 80 years old and look back in my life and be the guy who never took any risks or never took any plunges forward to the dreams or the aspirations that I want to fulfill and realize. That's mainly one of the reasons that keeps me in the grind or in the pursuit of climbing these YouTube ranks as further, or as longer, or as higher as I can. That's why I started to pursue a healthier lifestyle, because I don't want to be unhealthy. I do not want to be obese. I do not want to be fat. I do not want to get older and rely on like a crutch or a walking cane or anything. I want to be like a Super Saiyan type of guy or a Baki character. And that's also when I started wanting to also spend more time outside and interacting with people, because certainly there used to be a point in time back in my past that I hated, like I told you guys, I hated the world. I hated everything in it. I hated the people who lived in it. But now I want to enjoy experiences more and more with the people who have some meaning in my life, or the people who are important in my life. It's just a different outlook. It's just a matter of perspective when you start looking at things one way or another. So say you have a glass, right? You have a glass that is filled to 50%. You can either be the guy who says the glass is half empty, or you can be the guy who says the glass is half full. Like I told you guys, I do not want to be the kind of person who's old. Maybe I'm 70, 80, 90 years old, and I do not want to look back and have any sort of regrets. That's the number one thing that helps me, or is helping me, combat laziness. It is a reason for me, as soon as I open my eyes, to think about, hey, what do I want to do today so that I don't regret, in a couple of years' time, I am doing or not doing anything. So I wake up and I immediately start planning out my day. I exercise, I work, I do YouTube videos, and then I eat and rinse and repeat. And yeah, dying and realizing the fact that you are going to die, or that I am going to die, I think is my number one motivator to just pursue my dreams and pursue my goals. I just want you to have that as aware as possible, right? Consider the fact that this playthrough is the only one that you have. I'm not sure what's going to happen when we all go to heaven or when we step into the realm of the afterlife. Maybe we can come down back again and have another attempt at playing through life. But who knows? I'm not that's not the topic of this video. The topic of this video is you are absolutely and most certainly going to die. And before you die, you have to make the best of life, of the life that you have been given, of the life that you have been blessed with. And if you don't, believe me, 99% of the time, you're going to regret not doing what it is that you have to do to fulfill your dreams, fulfill your ambitions, or get as close as you can to the happiness that you deserve. And with that being said, thank you very much, Rim, and thank you very much, peeps. I'll see you in the next YouTube video. Boo!